Hello, welcome to my hideout. I have played Assassin's Creed Shadows for quite a long time. I finished the main story already, and then right after that, the thing that I did was to build my hideout. In the process, I have watched a whole bunch of videos, YouTube videos by other players. I think most of them are very beautiful. So good job guys on those. But I also noticed that not many people um, gave it a lot of thoughts. Maybe not in the way that I'm trying to do. Um, what I mean is a lot of people just throw a whole bunch of buildings together and then throw a bunch of statues, all those lanterns together.
What kind of tanuki was
They look
that?
great, but
Junjiro's never going to believe
I
me.
want to do it in a different approach. So maybe, let's begin. Okay, what I mean by that is I actually gave a lot of thought on the zoning. So by zoning I mean I group all the military and administration buildings together. As you can see, I have this zone back here. These are my military buildings. The Kakurega, it's the central administration building. The study is next to it. As you know, the study is the information center, right? It's your intelligence center. And the Nando is the apartment for your allies. It's where your allies rest and stay. So you can consider these military buildings, right? So because it's a military zone, they are grouped together. And then on this side, I have the other military zone. So you have the forge, where your weapons are made, right? And then also the dojo. The dojo is where your allies practice. So these are all, it's like the arsenal of your hideout. So besides the military zone, here I have my civilian zone. So all my civilian buildings are here. So the Hiroma is where you enter, and right ahead you have the Sashiki. And if you read the definition of the Sashiki, it is where you entertain your guests, right? So when you think about the zoning, to me this makes sense, right? Your guests enter from the front entrance, and then they walk along these hallways, and then you can entertain your guests here. And on the right side I have the gallery, right? After perhaps a cup of sake and a meal, you can take your guests to the gallery and look at your weapons and your collection of armor. Right, so that's how I lay this out. And as in any other city, to me zoning is very important. So I kind of don't really like just randomly putting a whole bunch of buildings together and then just throw in a bunch of sakura trees. Of course it looks nice, but I would like to give it some more thought, right? So here I have my zone, military zone, and my civilian zone. And they are partitioned, which I will show you guys later. Perhaps I will start with this little corner here. In your hideout map, there's a corner. It's close to this waterfall here. There's a little river, a pond. So yeah, let me start by showing you how I built out this little corner here. Okay, I was talking about this little corner here. It's a nice piece of land that is very quiet, right? It's separated by a small stream or river. So to me, this is a very tranquil place. That's why I grouped together all the spiritual buildings here, right? You have the Jinja, the ginger is a shrine, and then you have the terra. The terra is where you honor your ancestors, right? It's almost like a well, you can do whatever with it. But to me, these are like spiritual buildings. That's why I group them together. You might notice that I've bought one of the nicer skin packs, but I purposely didn't upgrade these buildings because they are more spiritual. I want them to have like a worn out and older kind of look to it. So let's do a little tour as well. Ooh, it's raining. Which makes it even better. Let me talk about this portal. If you read the description, it says it's a portal to some place that is spiritual. I have seen other people who like randomly put this portal like within the hideout. So nothing wrong with that, but for me personally, I just want to put some more thought into it, and it has to make sense, right? Because it's a portal to something spiritual. That's why I put it here. I have my shrine on the left and my terror on the right, right? So this is where I honor the gods and the ancestors. And as you can see, right after I enter, there's a Buddha looking at me, right? Another thing I did is I purposely let the grass to overgrow a little bit. I want this feeling of a slight neglect of this place. It's not well maintained. It's not well maintained. Right? You can see I put a whole bunch of gravestones here, just to give it a little freaky feeling. Right? It's a little freaky. Like the grass is overgrown. Yeah, there's a bunch of gravestones here. Right, let me walk to the other side. You see the lanterns here are kind of mossy as well. Okay, if you read the description of these things, you're supposed to wash your hands before entering some building that is spiritual, right? Or there's some kind of shrine. So that's why I placed these here. Again, I don't like placing things randomly. I want them to make sense. This is my terra. The terra is the place where you're supposed to honor your ancestors. Yep. There's another one of these things here. I forgot what they are called, but you're supposed to wash your hands before entering a place of worship. Here it is a shrine where you honor the gods. Alright, so this is how I built out this little corner piece of land here. It's kind of on its own. Quiet, tranquil, and a little overgrown. Maybe freaky at night. I can come back at night, especially with a bunch of gravestones back there. And I purposely didn't put a lot of light here. Haha, so it's gonna be freaky at night. Alright, next, let's go back to the quote-unquote mainland. Okay, let me show you guys zone by zone. I want to start with the military zone that I described. I'm right here next to the waterfall. You see these nice lanterns, but I transition into a military zone. So you notice the lanterns are different. Civilian zone is kind of artsy. Now is the red lantern, right? It's a big lantern, and all these flags are here. I'm entering a military zone, and you notice the ground is different. Alright, another set of lanterns telling me I am entering a military zone. Oh, there's a cute dog here. Why did I place it here? Yes, it's cute, but they are guard dogs, right? It's a military zone. You need something to guard your zone, right? And then these partitions kind of separate the civilian zone from military zone. And here I use bamboo. It's not terribly restrictive. You can kind of see through them, but they're also a tall barrier. So that's why I use these tall bamboo. Alright. Okay, look at the ground. It's all gravel. Why is the military zone all gravel? Right? So I gave it some thoughts. Because it's a military zone, if you have some spies who want to infiltrate your military zone, they have to walk on this gravel, and gravel make noise. So that is why it's actually a security feature, right? I don't know if a lot of players thought about this, but I certainly would like to think through and think about these details, right? So you put gravel here, anyone walks makes a sound. Anyone walking here will make a sound. So even in the middle of the night, if you have an intruder, someone trying to infiltrate your military zone, they are surely to make a noise. There's another guard dog here. Alright. That is my Nando building. This is where my allies rest. Okay, notice these red lanterns telling me that this is a military zone. And then after that, I have my study, which is connected to the Nando building. The study is my intelligence center, right? It's not close to the outside world. It's not anywhere near the outside world for easy defense. And I have a watchtower right next to it. Alright, oh little doggy, let me pet you.
I'm happy to see you too.
Alright. This is my Kakurega building, which is my main administrative building. Alright, because I'm still in the military zone, I still have the gravel. Right, and then these kind of... I chose these lanterns because they are also like military looking, right? Alright, here I have my bell tower, also for security purposes. On this side, on this end of my Kakurega, I have these lanterns as well. Alright, here I'm transitioning out of my military zone, so I don't have the gravel anymore. I have some agricultural building here. It's kind of a marketplace. You see my animals are here. Alright. Some firewood available here. Oh, look at him. Alright, this is my agricultural zone. You can find some nice watermelons here, some fresh produce. Alright, here I'm transitioning back to my other military zone. Again, I have this gravel here. Okay, here you can do target practice, right? Again, these dogs are nice, but they are guard dogs. It's a military zone, you need guard dogs. Again, the bamboo barrier separates the civilian zone from the military zone. By the way, this is the dojo. This is where your allies practice. That's why we have we have those target practice over there. Here you can practice more, right? You have your archery station. You can do practice here. And then of course, the forge is here. You can fix your weapons here. You can upgrade your weapons here. Alright. Military zone is separated from civilian zone. Again, big red lanterns telling you you are entering a military zone. Bell tower here guarding the military zone. Cute dog, but they are also guard dogs. Alright, that's about it for the military zone. I am going to introduce my civilian zone to you guys. Okay, in my civilian zone, I first want to show you my tea garden. Alright, let me come inside. I put a little bridge here because I want you to have a mental transition, right? I'm entering this hideout zone and I cross the bridge. I'm transitioning to another mental state. And when I cross the bridge, there is this little tea house in front of me, right? And it's surrounded by bamboo. So I'm mentally entering another state, right? There's a little stream by the side, and across the stream is my spiritual corner. But here I'm back in this world. I'm going to have tea, right? So you can see there are some additional bamboos here, because bamboo means tranquility, right? I have a good view of the waterfall. If it's too cold outside or at night, I can even sit on this bench. And there's some firewood out here, right? I can sit here, enjoy the waterfall. Okay, alright, this is my little tranquil corner. This part I have already showed you guys, so I won't repeat it. Okay, let me go back. Alright, let's see what's here. Alright, I'm in my civilian zone. Notice that the lanterns are different, and they are placed in front of major buildings. Alright, I have a little garden here. There's a small pool. Oh, how cute. Alright. Okay. Okay, so this is supposed to be the way where the guests enter, right? They enter, and then they are greeted by this little garden here. Oh, I love cats. I have a few here. You see? Oh, how lovely.
Look at that tiny face.
Alright, they're greeted by this little garden here. Alright. And this is where the guests will be entertained. They can have sake or whatever here. And then they can make their way along this little corridor and look at the gallery. Okay, let me go to my layout. Again, this is the concept of zoning. Guests enter here, go through that little rock garden. They can have a cup of sake, and they can visit the gallery. Right. Or they can enter here, cross that bridge, go to the tea house, enjoy their tea, come outside, take a good look at the waterfall. Right, this is my civilian zone. So I have already introduced the military zone. The military zone is separated. There's a bamboo barrier. Alright. There's a bamboo barrier around, so you always know whether you're in the military zone or civilian zone. Right. Military zone has their own security. Alright, next let me talk about this little garden here. Let me make a proper entrance. Alright, so in my civilian zone, this is my sashiki. This is where the guests enjoy their sake. Alright. So from the backside of the sashiki, I can come to this little garden. Right? When the guests are done with the sake, they can come out to this little garden. So I have dedicated an open space to be my garden. Right? I have my little animals here. The guests can sit on this bench. Alright. They even have this little fancy umbrella thing. Right, so let me start with this end of the garden. Oh, how cute! There are little animals here. Alright. As they walk in the garden, we have these elaborate lanterns here for cosmetic purposes and for lighting at night as well. And then there's the large bridge with a nice view of the sakura tree. This is in the middle of my garden. Alright, on the other side I have the same lanterns. Where are my little animals? Yay, I have little animals here. Again, bamboo for the tranquility. Okay.
Are you lost?
I love cats. Alright, this is my other side of the garden. Yeah, again, so this whole garden is for the enjoyment of my guests. After they have a cup of sake, they can come to this garden. Alright, at the back of the other side of the garden is the military zone, but it's all walled off with these bamboo, these tall bamboo barrier. Oh, look at this!
Oh, I can't play right now.
Alright. Let me show you one more thing. I have another little garden here. Right, there's a piece of rock. Someone can sit here and contemplate. Okay, I suppose little kids can play here because these are for kids. Alright. So I'm again at the boundary of my civilian zone. Okay, I place a statue of Buddha here facing the military zone, right? When you come off the military zone, you immediately see Buddha here. So you kind of let go of your aggressiveness, right? You're in civilian zone now. You see a garden. On this side we have a guard dog and the military zone. Alright, I think I have covered everything. Yeah, please enjoy. I hope you guys can put some thoughts into your zoning. Don't just put a bunch of buildings together or like put a bunch of sakura trees. Of course it looks nice, but yeah, I would love everything to make sense. Like have a utility value to it. Alright, enjoy.